trying to bring more business to my business and not put a financial burden on me to provide something because we're trying to bring somebody else to buy a lot. And I understand that lot could be worth millions for the town in revenues and taxes and all of that. But do we really think one little container is going to stop that developer from making money and bringing stores? Quite honestly, I don't think so. Maybe you can persuade me to think otherwise. And I understand your plight of trying to keep containers from popping up all over the place. But it's a tough one that you guys have to walk.
It is. It's very tough because you're a local business person.
And it's harder for me because I can see both sides.
And you provide a revenue to the town, through taxing and so forth. And at the same time, we're up here to protect the town.
Sure.
And like I said, you opened up the window for the Walmart, saying, you know what, that looks junky over there. You know, I called one of our sister towns today and said, hey, what would you do? What do you have on the books and everything? Basically, any outside storage has to be 80% more masonry.
Okay.
And that's what's in their books. 80% masonry for outside storage more than 120 square feet.
Is that here in Hickory Creek or this other town?
That's the other town.
Okay.
That's the other town. And the reason it is to either match what they're building storage out there for and so forth.
I would imagine it's the same, it follows the same principle because our trash container does have a cement
It
casing.
has your red brick and then your white column.
Absolutely.
That goes on the outside. So one of the things we brought up at the last meeting was, if you just continue that wall across with that red brick, because that protects you from that road, even though there's not a lot of traffic.
Okay.
But it also, you're back behind Swisher in your own building. That was brought up.
Okay.
And you're talking probably, if you look at that distance, and look at the distance of this container, which is what, 20 feet?
Mm-hmm. If I'm putting a brick building, it'll be a 10-foot container.
Right. Right.
That's one.
So, looking at that wall, putting that wall across there,
Sure.
for the brick, and I'm not sure if that's an Acme brick or not, but it's probably $350 a thousand. You probably got 15,000 brick, maybe, most, 10 by 20. So you're talking about $35,000, $40,000 for the brick, and another $4,000 for the labor. So I'm just throwing that out there as far as this council's got to decide what they want to do.
It's a lot of oil changes.
That's a lot of oil changes, but you know what? It's an investment in your business for the equipment that you need to go more than just oil changes. Just consideration. I think Councilman Ward brought up the 6 months temporary.
Sure.
If we did the temporary, if we did decide to go forward, then I would say, since we need to be fair to the large business out there, to the small businessman, and we could run that permit, either parallel to Walmart from September to January, or we'd start it now and it'd be 6 months and then come back to the council and then go from there. But I'm not sure if that would be good for you, because once you establish that storage, you and I both know
Sure.
once it gets going, what are we going to do if we don't get the permit in 6 months?
Yeah, I would definitely like a better solution, and I may have one. I'm not opposed to fencing it in. If that's agreeable with the council, we can do that. Fence it in, hide it. There are the trash container that we have now has 2 doors, and they're the fence with the slots in them, which pretty much hide everything behind it. We could make it match that, and just kind of conceal it so that it looks more like where a trash bin would be.
And my other concern is I drove out there today and looked at it. You're fixing to have some new neighbors on your east side.
Mm-hmm.
So what would the new neighbors say with their business they're putting in and spending all that money, which is roughly $1.5 million, I believe, to renovate and buy that property and do what they got to do over there? What are they going to say with that container if we agree that tonight? If it's not fenced in or, shows a really nice elevation on the outside.
Sure.
So something to consider, because that's the kind of things that we're looking
Believe me, there's no one in here that has more an interest in that property than I. I have my money tied up in it. I have, that's my kid's college fund, okay? I understand. But I'm willing to, let's figure out a permanent solution so that I don't have to come back in 6 months, and I don't have to waste your time in 6 months, so that ask for permission for another 6 months, and, you know, that sort of thing. Again, if it's agreeable, if I could fence it in and make it look aesthetically pleasing, I'm willing to do that. I think trying to make it match the building and the current trash container wall there would be a lot more expensive. So my request is, can I fence it in and make it look like the doors of the trash container and make it look presentable? Would that be agreeable with the council?
And that'd be discussion that probably held.
Absolutely, sure.
Can I make a couple of comments?
Sure.
First of all, I think, we talked about the fact that, all the trash bins in towns, up there are all, they've got brick around them.
Mhm.
So I guess to me, I look at it and I think if, and I wasn't here when all that was determined, that was, that's obviously an ordinance that has to be done. So to me, if our ordinance doesn't address this issue, then it's something that we need to address in the ordinance and clean that up. But on the other side of that, to me, I can't see making someone go to the expense of building brick around the trash can and then say that you can have a storage building there that's not bricked. We didn't say you can put a fence around it. Whoever wrote the ordinance at the time didn't say you can just do a fence around it. The other issue, and I understand what you're saying, right now that's a vacant lot behind you. But, what a lot of people may not realize is that our Economic Development Corporation, has spent a lot of money working on a mixed-use ordinance that when that develops, the developer that owns that land has in principle agreed, because he helped craft this, actually, the mixed-use ordinance is going to we're not going to end up with just a Walmart parking lot out there. We're looking at a town center with upgraded amenities and things, and so that's my concern. We've spent a lot of time and effort working on this ordinance that we're massaging along and bringing to the point where that developer, at such time as he's ready to sell the land and develop it, which we're hoping is sooner rather than later, and we have indications that it could be. We've put all of this, difficulty, I guess you could call it. He doesn't care about all that, but we've said this is what we want for our town center to look like. And so we've really spent a lot of time and effort crafting this document that's about a 60-page document that's just kind of sitting there waiting. And then to go back and say, well, yeah, we're fine with just putting a temporary, or a container out there.
Sure.
That's my, I just know how much time and effort and money has been spent on this, getting a mixed-use town
I can
center.
appreciate that.
And then, basically, that road behind you is going to go away. That's not going to be a road.
I appreciate your concerns, but your time and effort doesn't amount to my $1.6 million that I have tied into that building. That is a considerable financial, investment for me too. So I've got a lot of sweat and money tied into a facility also. So on my side, you have to give me a little bit of credit that I've got considerable amounts of money tied into a facility. And no one wants that place to look better than I. That dry cleaner going out of business was probably, it was definitely a bad thing for us. It's an eyesore. Sometimes we even wanted to go there and cut the grass ourselves, just so that because they were built by the same builder. It's Quick Car going out of business, and that sort of thing. It gives a bad vibe. I understand that. I understand your concerns. I understand your efforts in bringing, that developer in. I want that developer to come because it brings me That's all my request is not to put me through a huge financial burden just so I can stock tools.
Anything else, Mr. Santos?
Well, the only question I have, and perhaps this needs to be asked later, is doesn't this all evolve around an ordinance? And I haven't really heard that addressed in terms of.
I've asked what the ordinances are, and I was not given one.
Well, I believe in this particular zoning district, to be able to have outside storage, you have to get council approval. That's really that was the provision we were operating under. And it doesn't have specific standards that the outside storage has to follow, it just says it has to be approved by council. So you can put conditions on that, or timeframes on it, or whatever you chose to do.
Case by case?
And
Yes.
therein lies my problem. I hate to be the guy that you're making the example out of. Because there is no such ordinances, and just, because I decided to go the right path to ask to put it up, I could have just put it up there and nobody would have been the wiser. Until, somebody complained about it, then you could take it down. But yet we're having, a good discussion, I think, regarding it, and, I also don't want people to just throw things up, because then it becomes a melee. It's not good. Again, my request is, let's think of something logical that is not going to put a heavy financial burden on it. That's all I ask.
Any other questions, Mr. Santos? Thank you, Mr. Santos.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So back to the item, considering a possible reconsideration of application submitted by Hickory, a permit to allow the placement of an outside